If your insurance premium jumped and nobody could tell you why, your car already knows the answer. It's been filing a daily report. Location, speed, how hard you brake, how late you're out. That data goes straight to the manufacturer, and from there, straight to the insurance industry. The data sharing off toggle in your settings menu does nothing. The hardware keeps running. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly where the tracker lives in your Japanese car and the 2 ways to kill it for good. So, let's start with what you're dealing with, because most people picture the wrong thing. The data communication module is not your navigation screen. It's not your Bluetooth. It's not the app on your phone. It's a completely separate piece of hardware, its own SIM card, its own cellular antenna, wired directly into your car at the factory before the vehicle ever left the lot. Toyota calls it the DCM. Honda builds equivalent telematics hardware under different names. Subaru and Mazda both run the same kind of unit doing the same job. The brand on the badge doesn't change what that box does. What it does is listens. Your car has an internal network called the CAN bus. Think of it as a constant conversation happening between every system in the vehicle. The DCM sits on that network and reads the feed, speed, location, braking events, acceleration patterns, trip start and end times, all of it. Then it takes what it hears and sends it back to the manufacturer over a live cellular connection, whether you asked it to or not. Now here's the part that catches people off guard. When owners get uncomfortable with this, the natural first move is to open the settings menu and flip the data sharing toggle off. Cancel the connected services subscription. Done, right? Not even close. That toggle controls the convenience layer. It covers the remote start app, the roadside assistance features, and the Wi-Fi hotspot. It was never connected to the module's cellular radio. The module stays powered. It keeps transmitting. One Toyota RAV4 owner documented this directly. He opted out of every connected service the menu offered, and the car kept sending data to Toyota through its built-in cellular link. The menu gave him the feeling of control without any of the function. There's a reason for that gap, and it was not a design oversight. The Mozilla Foundation went through 25 car brands for its Privacy Not Included report. Of all 25, exactly 2 gave drivers a real mechanism to delete their own data. Both of those 2 brands sell exclusively in Europe, where privacy law carries penalties that hurt. Every other brand, including the ones in your driveway, handed you a settings menu and called it an opt-out. For Toyota specifically, the stakes are more direct than most owners realize. Toyota's connected data runs through a company called Connected Analytic Services, which ties back to Toyota's own insurance operation. After roughly 60 days of your driving data coming in, that system can generate a personalized insurance quote built entirely from what your car already reported. You didn't apply. You didn't consent to a rate review. Your car did the paperwork without you. That is not a hypothetical. It's the business model, and the GM case is what proved it out loud. In March 2024, the New York Times published an investigation into General Motors that answered the question most people hadn't thought to ask yet. Who wants this data, and what do they do with it? GM had been pulling detailed driving behavior from millions of its vehicles. Not just location data, hard braking events, sudden acceleration, late-night driving, every stretch of road covered above the speed limit. For some drivers, that data was sampled as frequently as every 3 seconds. GM then handed the file to 2 data brokers, Verisk and LexisNexis, who repackaged it and sold it directly to insurance companies. One Chevrolet Bolt owner requested his own file from LexisNexis. What came back was 258 pages covering 640 individual trips across 6 months of driving. He only went looking because his premium had jumped 21% with no explanation. His car had been building the case against him the whole time. GM wasn't the only one running this. A 2024 Senate investigation found that Hyundai handed over driving data from 1.7 million vehicles to Verisk. The payment Hyundai received worked out to roughly 61 cents per car. 61 cents was the going rate for a year of knowing where 1.7 million families drove. California wrapped up its investigation, and GM agreed to pay $12.75 million, the largest penalty ever handed down under the state's consumer privacy law. But the fine wasn't for building the system, it was for getting caught running it without adequate disclosure. The infrastructure itself was never the problem in the eyes of the law. Japanese manufacturers run the same architecture. The GM case didn't invent a new problem, it just pulled back the curtain on a pipeline that was already moving data in every connected car on the road, yours included. So now that you know what the data is worth to the people buying it, let's talk about how you cut the feed off. Let's get into the actual work. On most Toyota models, RAV4, Highlander, and Tacoma, the DCM sits behind the passenger side dashboard, tucked next to the main computer. Getting to it means pulling the glove box, removing air vents, and working through a stretch of interior trim. It is not a 5-minute job, but it is completely doable with basic hand tools and a trim removal kit you can grab for a few dollars. Honda put similar telematics hardware behind interior panels, near the center console, or in the rear seat area, depending on the model year. Generally, it is more accessible than on Toyota, but the process is the same. Find the module, unplug it, done. Except on Toyota, it is not quite that simple. And this is important because if you just yank the Toyota DCM without a plan, you lose your front right speaker and your hands-free microphone. Toyota routed both of those through the module itself. That is not a wiring accident. Running audio and microphone functions through the data module makes removal painful enough that most owners give up and plug it back in. That was the intent. So the community built a workaround. It is called a bypass harness, and it costs around $20. After you unplug the DCM, you plug the harness into the empty connectors in its place. The harness tells the car's network that the module is still seated and present. It just happens to be permanently out of cellular range. Your speaker comes back, your microphone works, the car stops sending data. Toyota made the module difficult to remove, so owners made it easy to neutralize. If pulling trim panels is not something you want to do today, there is a lower commitment first step worth trying. Every fuse box in your car has a diagram, either in your owner's manual or printed on the inside of the fuse box cover. Find the fuse labeled TCU, DCM, or telematics. Pull it. On most models, that fuse going dark means the module loses power completely. You can confirm it worked by checking whether any connected services that were still active, even background ones, have gone offline. If they have, the module is dead. If you later decide to go further and do the full physical removal, you will already know the fuse location and what it controls. Now, before you do either of these, you need to know what you are giving up, because it's real. Automatic crash notification stops working. If you are in a serious accident and cannot call for help yourself, the car will not do it for you. Stolen vehicle tracking through the manufacturer's app goes away. If someone takes your car, you cannot ping its location from your phone. Remote start via the app is gone too. For some owners, those losses are a non-starter, and that is a completely reasonable call. This is not about telling you what to decide, it is about making sure you are the one deciding. What stays intact is everything you use every day. Navigation still works. GPS on the infotainment screen still works. Radio, Bluetooth calls, Apple CarPlay, or Android Auto, all that runs on separate systems and is completely unaffected. Lane assist, automatic emergency braking, blind spot monitoring, all your active safety features stay online. Those are systems that process data locally inside the car. They do not need a cellular uplink to function, and unplugging the DCM does not touch them. One last thing worth knowing: if you call Toyota's customer line and ask plainly how to permanently disable the DCM, they will send you to the dealer. The dealer won't do it. That wall is the most honest answer you are going to get about whose interest that module serves. They will show you how to turn off the lane, keep nudge. They will walk you through disabling the seatbelt chime. The data module is the one piece of equipment in the car that the people who built it refuse to help you control. That tells you everything. Your car's off switch was built to make you feel better, not to make the module stop. Drop your year and model in the comments below. Other owners reading need to know whether yours is a quick fuse pull or a full bypass job with a harness. That information is genuinely useful to the next person who finds this video. Subscribe to Japanese Motor Vault if you want the next deep dive, because there is a lot more in these cars that nobody at the dealership is going to volunteer, and I do not want you to get ripped off.